What's good, everyone?
Okay.
It's your boy Sifu G, the Esoteric Warrior. Hope everyone's doing good this evening. As you know, the Tao Kung Fu podcast, it's a series where I get to invite and interview some of the best martial artists, friends in the martial arts of all disciplines. And tonight I've got a very special guest, a Kung Fu brother of Shaolin Yokunmun, the Barefoot Doctor, the mystical spiritual warrior himself, Sifu Jen Sam. How you doing, brother?
Yo, Gaz, how are you? It's
Good,
good
mate.
to
Hey,
talk to you.
I like your beanie, bro.
Yeah, it's been made by one of my great friends and sifus, and everyone at work just loves it. They love this, warrior mind, warrior body, Buddha mind is such a great catchy name. So I wear this to keep my head warm, but I also love
Yeah, it's a
the catchphrase.
statement. It's about
Yep,
being
I
the
love it.
warrior and the Buddhist mind. All right,
Yeah, I love it.
so you know what this is all about. I get to ask you questions about your journey. I'm the host, Sifu Gary. So I'm going to hit you with the first question, mate. Tell us about your
Yep.
martial arts background, how you got into it, at what age, and so forth.
Yeah. Well, I I've got a very, very long story, but I make it quite short because that's why I wrote the actual book, The Life of the Barefoot Doctor, which I'm going to be giving out to people for free once they become members and so forth. And what it is that it started when I was about 6 years old, and of course I used to go to summer camp, and then of course I loved the Taekwondo, so I just went kicking crazy, and my dad was sort of pretty impressed, and I just loved it. And I was a natural in martial arts. So and then to speed things up, that by the time I was about 13 years old, and I got to see Bruce Lee and Enter the Dragon, that was
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I just said, that's it. I want to do kung fu, even
You
though
know, I think Bruce Lee probably did it for everyone, got everyone
correct.
into the Chinese martial arts, even me as a kid.
Correct. I think, yeah, I mean, everyone knows he's legendary. So, and because I was so much enthralled into the Chinese and the martial arts, and you knew that ever since, we were together, of course, living together. It was very interesting because I really, I really, really was so enthralled in becoming a warrior, a fighter, that I would imitate everything. And I put all these photos all up on my wall. My whole walls were covered with his photos. I would imitate everything he did. And
Yeah.
then, of course, we started in Australia, we started looking for Kung Fu masters. So I started traveling in Melbourne because I come from Melbourne originally, and I found William Chung. And straight away, I went to train with William Chung. I trained with a lot of Kung Fu masters that even knew Bruce Lee in those days. And then, of course, I eventually ended up going into the Zendu Kai, and the Re Taekwondo. Getting my black belts in those arts were really simple, actually. And I was very young. I was about 12 years old, and I was already teaching. So my mother said to me, "You're the youngest teacher I've ever met at 12 years old, teaching other kids." So as one of the youngest, kids probably teaching and doing everything, it wasn't until I started to get into the Kung Fu from Bruce Lee, which was the white crane style, the Bahok white
Okay.
crane style.
Okay.
And this master had such a big belly, had the drum belly. So I'd punch it, kick it. I can't do anything. And this guy was so short, and he was really good. So I got into all the kung fu stuff, and then of course I had to leave Melbourne. I left home when I was young. I was involved in gangs and fighting, so it became pretty heavy with police and drugs and
Yeah.
rock and roll and everything in the 70s,
Sex,
right?
drugs, and rock and roll.
Oh yeah,
And kung
it was
fu.
pretty heavy. Oh, look, I was using my kung fu to fight in gangs. I got the nunchuckers out. I used to use knives. I've got knife injuries, from
Yeah.
gang fights, gang wars. I mean, everyone loved Bruce Lee. Everyone, right? And then I was into the David Bowie, and I was into all the usual AC/DC, all the Australian stuff. So by the time I was 15, I had to leave the state. because I was already wanted. The police were already hunting me down all the time. I was causing my mother so much strife. So I said to myself, I'm going to leave home. And so I did. I got a suitcase with $5. I didn't even finish. I just finished grade 6 and I decided I'm going. And so I hitchhiked all the way to King's Cross and I went and became I went and became a doorman, a sitter in the
I,
strip clubs and the bars.
I remember that even your brother was a bouncer at
Yep,
the Pink Pussycat. We used to go there and
yep,
know.
yep. And it's in all my books. You'll see it in my book when you read about my life story. And man, I can't believe that I was still a small man. I was only like 5 foot 5'10", 5'11" at that time.
Yeah,
Yeah, even smaller because I was only 15 or 16, and I was still, I was I was dealing and I was working with people. Of course, I was selling drugs. Of course, I was into all the bad stuff.
yeah.
But I was also using my martial arts to protect myself.
And
So
I think all that negative past has made you into a different person, and you got
yeah,
out of that to better yourself. Um,
correct.
and then you got up to I remember you started Yolkaman around 1982 or something with Learn
Yeah,
Chung.
yeah. Yakumun was, yeah, it was huge for me. I started in the early 1980s. I can't exactly remember the exact dates or times, but when I started with Learn Chung, I went to Cheng Chak Fei. I went to all the different kung fu's from Bar Hawk to
Yeah,
White Crane, everything,
yeah,
Double Dragon,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I loved them. They were all good, but there was something about Learn Chung that was
absolutely,
really
absolutely.
attractive to me.
Well,
And of course, I liked the school.
yeah,
You
because
know,
when I started after probably I started in '86 with Learn Churn, and I used to jig school and go for, in Chinatown with a good friend of mine,
that's
Robert,
right.
and and
Yeah,
we used to go to. I went up to Learn Churn school in Yolkamon, and there was no one there but him, and
yeah,
he never spoke English, and I said.
yeah,
And I was just in awe because of the shrine, the sun toy, all the
yes,
pictures, the
yeah.
floor, the wooden dummies, the
It
lion
it
heads.
it was a very homely place. It's like a home away from
It
home.
was like a little temple.
Yep. That's the way I liked it. I didn't like it like to be a kung fu and training and there's no energy there. It had energy. That's what
And
I
the
loved
and,
about it.
and of course the smell of Tita medicine was
Oh
always,
yeah.
you know,
Oh yeah.
you
Oh
know.
yeah.
And I've seen
Oh
I,
yeah.
I remember when I was there training when I first started, and a lady got hit by a fucking bus and her whole knee was out. And I think some of the sittings brought her upstairs, and Sifu just fucking put it back in, some tit dar on it, get out.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
he
Yep.
was amazing, wasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, uh, I was only 15 when I was starting to train with him after all the white crane and after all the taekwondo and all the stuff I did. And it was just funny because he loved my kicks because I was a black belt in taekwondo and everything. So he said to me, "Okay, I'm gonna give you Derek, his most
The
vicious
bull,
killer,
yeah.
right?" And he said to me, "I'm going to give you this guy, and I want you, Derek and Adrian, I want you to try and kick him." And man, did I have sore feet.
Yeah.
They smashed my shins, they smashed my legs, and I'm going, I'm not going to kick these guys again. But Leung Cheng said that if you find an opening and if you hit them, you're going to win. And I never forget how many times because Leung Cheng's classes were pretty tough. And at the end of the class, we would always, we would have sparring and it was
Always fun.
full contact. It was full contact. There was no games played. And you had to get into what I call the fighting and the techniques. And I was such a basic beginner. So I said, fuck it, I'm going to use my legs. And boy, did I win. Not against Adrian. Adrian was always really smart, but
Yeah.
Derek, he kept himself open under the ribs, and when I got him, I broke his ribs. And when
Oh,
that happened, everyone said, Sam is the kicker in Yao Kung. That's it. And I loved it because remember the what's his name? The big guy, the Brazilian, the
Eddie,
boxer. Yeah.
Eddie.
Well, Eddie was also scared of my kicks. And whenever I used to sweep him, I used to throw him down. And Eddie would go, I'm not fighting with you.
Yeah, I remember sparring Eddie at when you had when you're teaching at the
Yeah,
Jiao Bar school. He used
yeah,
to come
yeah,
up
yeah,
with
yeah,
Cyrus and all that, and I
yeah,
used to
yeah,
spar those boys too. Um,
yeah,
Another thing I remember when we're training down there is
yeah,
before you guys used to, because I only just started and I wasn't allowed to fight, even though I won Hapkido gold medal.
yeah,
Um, I was only new there, so Sifu would never let me fight in a competition until my levels were up. And
yeah.
remember, we used to run
Okay.
from the Mulgun in Chinatown over the Harbour Bridge and all the way back to the Mulgun as a
I've
warm
got
up.
to, yeah, yeah. I got to get this dog out of here.
All right.
So,
Anyway, we're going to come up to a break now,
yep.
and we'll be back after you kick the dog up the
Okay, man. Yeah, I got to kick it out. It's
just
just
hammer
barking its head
fist
off.
it. Boom.
Okay, bye, mate. I'll
Bye,
speak in
mate.
a minute.
All right, we're back with Sifu Jen Sam on the Tao of Kung Fu podcast. I remember when we are doing Yokomun and or before I started Yokomun, I used to go and watch the Barbecue King tournaments where all you guys fought.
That's right.
And I used to go, who are these fucking guys knocking people out? They got the golden arrow on the pants and the sash.
Yeah.
And then I found out it was Yokomun, and then that's how I got started because of the combat. All Yokomun was always fighting in competitions, proving themselves, and that is gold in traditional kung fu. Not many schools these days
It
that
is.
spar even, they just do sticky hands or push hands and but
Correct.
new systems. Charlie Futt was good as well. They were
Yeah.
powerful. Um, so with you've always been ripped and strong and fit. We used to call it the Yolkamun body, remember?
Yeah, yeah,
Body
yeah,
by Yolkamun.
yeah, yeah.
so,
Body by Yakuman.
so what strength and conditioning do you still do today uh, out of Yolkamun to keep your fitness?
Okay, well, as you know, I'm now going into my 60s. So, I sort of slowed down and I stopped doing the weights. Remember, I used to have weights in all of my schools.
Oh,
I was doing always bodybuilding.
you had some of the most beautiful and biggest schools in Sydney.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
remember the first one at my
Yeah,
dad helped build.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You and your dad and all of us three were building it beautifully. Beautiful floors. I used to sleep
Yeah,
there. Remember, I made it my home. I
yeah,
slept there. I ate there. I love living in martial arts, remember? So I really felt that it was important that, you know, when it comes to keeping yourself fit as you get older, you don't have to do all the stuff that you used to do for tournaments, and you don't have to keep up your championships and your strength and fighting, because really nowadays there's law and you go to jail if you kill someone or if you do some harm, right?
yeah,
So basically, what I did is I maintained most of my martial arts by doing the forms at least once a week, which is what Leung Chung always told me to do. And if I couldn't do that, I would do the advanced forms only once a week. And then I would do calisthenics and body strength and exercise like push-ups and everything. Because, I was always pretty popular doing the one thumb, one finger push-ups like Bruce Lee.
yeah,
And I used to do the breaking of the boards. You throw them up and I can snap kick them and break them in half. I used to do all the stuff. I would show everyone how to do it. It's really a lot of it is trick. And then what I found out is that as you get, of course, older, to keep, and I've still got my goddamn, well, my abs and everything, see?
yeah,
And
man.
that's because if you maintain your kung fu just doing your forms, you maintain and I've added a lot of new extras, which is calisthenics. I like doing the calisthenics. The
Mm.
calisthenics to me is like, these guys are superhuman, man. They're,
Yeah,
they're doing push-ups with no feet, they're just doing it on their hands and they're going handstands and, amazing stuff, which is really what I love doing. And then what I do is I also do the yoga. I also keep my stretching going. And I noticed that as you get older, of course, you got children, your life changes. There's no more this challenge, you don't have a kung fu school, so you don't have to worry about people coming in to challenge you. You can take it a little bit more easier. That's where, of course, I just keep myself fit. Either way, very rarely now I do bodybuilding. I don't find it necessary.
yeah,
Second of all, you got to pay money for it because I don't have my own gym. And I always love doing weaponry. I love my weapons.
yeah.
Weaponry,
You're
yeah.
always a champion performer at the weapons for sure.
Sure, yeah, seven-time champion, man. I did everything from sticks to scimitars, swords, whips, the whole lot. Actually, that's why Leung Cheng sort of loved me as a demonstrator. He used to say, well, if anyone knows all the forms of Yao Kumun, it's
Sam,
Sifu Sam. And
you're
that's how I keep on doing it.
yeah,
And,
because I
and I'm
remember
going to keep it alive.
because I remember in '92 at Town Hall, I did Subtukun and you did
That's
the
right.
nine ring Kwando.
That's right.
Yeah,
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 correct.
yeah.
I
That
would I would really encourage everyone just to keep the tradition alive, and that's what I'm doing. It's so important for me to keep my fitness because when you're a teacher, there's nothing worse than going fat, overweight, and losing your strength, losing your stretching. I always remember what Leung Chung said to me. If you stop training and you don't do anything anymore, what happens is everything comes back to me.
yeah.
And when I heard that when I was a young boy, I said, no way, I'm not going to train this hard for and lose it all. That's
But
why
you
when yeah,
but you've been really inspiring, especially for myself growing up and all the Guelo
all the
you,
guilos, yeah,
all the Guelos. Like you were the first Yalkamun Guelo teacher.
yep,
Sifu Learn Cheng handed you
yep,
the title
yep,
and and like I said, your schools were some of the most beautiful, fully equipped gyms, bags, and everything. And
yeah.
it was really motivating for everyone. And you end up packing out the schools, you know.
I loved it because I started with around about 15 or 20 people in the Jalga, remember with
Yeah,
Randy Bennett.
it was like
And
me and you, and next minute another one, and
yep,
it's build,
and
build.
we ended up filling up that school, and then we had to move. We moved to the other place, and then that was too small. So I had to go back with Eric and start to build something big enough. And then I stopped. I had to stop because I was spending all my money on martial arts.
Yeah,
I didn't save nothing. I
yeah,
didn't save nothing. I lived, breathed, and died martial arts. And
that
of
is
course, that
true.
that was the peak. That was the peak of Yao Kumun, remember, with Leung Cheng, the schools, the parties, the
The line dance.
demonstrations, the
Yeah.
tournaments, the lion dancing. That was the peak of our Yao Kumun era, right?
I think once Sifu, when he passed away, Yalkumun also died.
Oh, yeah.
A big chunk of Yalkumun here, Australia,
Yep.
felt that, and it was up to me and you, and we're the one with the most students for all the line dance, dragon dancing, even kung fu tournaments. I had students still fighting.
It was always the Guilos who would come to bail out at least half of the Chinese because, of course, there was never enough people to do lion dancings or those fighting or tournaments, demonstrations, whatever it was. And you're right. The big issue in those days for especially the Guilos is that it was very hard to be accepted. And it
Mhm.
was very hard to be not just accepted, but to be part of the brothers, right?
Yeah,
And the Chinese still maintained a bit of a, I am Chinese and you're never going to be Chinese and you can never be like us.
yeah.
And you know what? I proved them wrong. You've proved them wrong. And the
And
thing
we're
is,
still going, and we're still
of
pushing
course,
Pokemon, you know?
yep. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Um, our heart is exactly where it's meant to be. We've dedicated our life, we've dedicated our financial everything in martial arts. Majority, and I would say nearly all of the others didn't invest nothing.
No,
They just did it,
all our
and
all our Hings never even opened up a school.
correct.
Maybe
They
Ming did with just some private students and James
yeah.
and that, but it wasn't like a
Not
Mulgunyan.
like us. No, no. And I can truly understand. They had families, they had children, they had to pay mortgages. I mean, you and I were lucky. We were single. We didn't have the problem with women and all this other thing. We had money. So okay, we spend money on rental. And at the end of the day, I mean, it was a good time. It's impossible to
Yeah.
think of doing it now.
Oh
And that's
no.
why I agree with you, and I also digress that, is this the end of martial arts? Yaukumun, is this going to be? No, I actually believe there's going to be a new era. It's going to come after, the whole world resets itself.
Mm,
We are going to be the last of the generation of masters, because see, we have a very big problem, and the big problem is the technology. Everyone now is just following the let's say the technology, right?
yeah.
So I'm actually going to get into that eventually with the virtual reality, but there's still a lot of problems with all that. And what I'm saying is that it's going to be up to us to keep it alive and to find those who truly want to be martial artists, who truly want to be warriors, who are going to need to be, because the world is definitely getting to be very unsafe and very unsecure.
True,
And
true.
no more is money going to be your prime objective, because once we go digital, the only thing that you have is what you've learned, or what no one else can take away from you. You
Mm,
see, that's the one gift that we have, is that we can't, no one can take away what we've achieved. And I always say to myself, never, ever put yourself down,
true, true. Okay.
because
Yeah.
we've done more than so many martial art masters and teachers in all fields of martial arts. And we've studied it, and we've written books, and we've done this and we've done that. And we're still going. We never stop learning. We
No,
never stop learning. You know that.
Kung Fu is part of us. So
Exactly.
you were one of the first Australians to go and study under the Grandmaster Harquat Jung and
Yeah,
Harlow Ming for the acupuncture Jum Goal. Tell us a little
correct.
bit about your journey in Hong Kong back in 1990. I think you went. Because
Yeah, my Hong Kong trip was also with my students, remember, in the early 1990s.
no, but I think you go first because you wanted. Oh, that's right, because you wanted to go into movies as well.
Correct.
Hong Kong movies.
What I tried to do was to try to break into the Hong Kong movie scene. And I would be interviewed for Jackie Chan movies. I was kicking and flying around everywhere, doing everything for Yao Kun, trying to get into the movies in Hong Kong. I never could make it. All I got was B grade, commercials, television series, always the bad guy,
Yeah.
always the Guai Lo being killed. And I didn't worry about it, because even some of the toughest and some of the best around the world, like Van Damme and so on at that time, they couldn't get into the Hong Kong market. No one can, because it's for Hong Kong.
Yeah, it's such
It's for them.
it's a cutthroat industry for sure.
They won't allow a Guaylo to take over Hong Kong, because they just want Chinese. That is quite common, because it's a pride of the Chinese.
But
So I
true.
let that go. And that's where I realized, and I said to myself, 1 minute, I can create and I can control everything I want to. I'm here now in Hong Kong. I don't have a wife. I don't have children. I don't have anything I need to worry about but to learn, study from the masters. So I'll give you just some quick stories, because I got thousands of them, and just quickly because
Yeah.
of time. When I first met with Hagwat Jung by myself, and I told him that I've come here to learn, Hargot Jung was not the first man that I was picked to go and train with, because Leung Chung, remember, really didn't like, and they didn't like each other, and they
They
were
had a bit of a, they
competition.
had a fallout.
Yep, they had a very big fallout. They didn't like each other at all, and I was in the middle of it. So what happened was he sent me to one of his friends who's also a sifu. He's like him. He knows the amount of levels like Leung Chung, and he does some weapons, and he's also an acupuncturist, and he's a herbalist. So I went to him, but he didn't want to teach, and he couldn't teach a foreigner because his English was terrible, like Hargut Jung. All of them had no English, and he basically, he just pawned me off. He didn't want a Guaylo, and it was Leung Chung's very good friend who's a
Oh,
Sifu. So I felt, oh man, I've come all the way here. I've given up my jobs. I've given up everything. I've let go of everything in Australia to come here to live in Hong Kong and to learn how to be a Sifu, right? Because I said to Leung Chung that if I cannot learn everything, which Leung Chung didn't have everything, remember?
yeah, it didn't
If I
have the,
can't learn everything, and if you can't teach it to me, then I will go to Hong Kong and I will learn from the great masters. So what happened is I said to Leung Chung, look, he doesn't want to teach me. So James said to him, and he said, okay, look, try and go to Hargut Chung and see if he'll accept you. So I did, begging to Hargut Chung, and he was shocked because he wanted to see how good my Ling Jiao Ling Q was,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
it was
you
big on
know, oh, mate, he was big on all the 18, push head, everything. He was big on it. And he wanted to see what Leung Chung was teaching and if I would be qualified. So he said to me, oh, show me, what you could do and
that.
all this kind of stuff, right? And with, I ended up with absolutely, you know, enthralled that he accepted me, and he paid me to do line dancing. He paid me to help him to do the bone setting and all the things I was doing because I was also treating him.
Mm.
Most people don't know it, but
Because
what he was teaching,
he had a bad back or something, didn't he? I remember.
he had a bad back, he had high blood pressure, he had a lot of problems, and he got me to make his medicine. He got me to massage him. He got me to do the dita for his body. And I just kept quiet because, he was always the great master, right?
Mhm.
And, you know, I have so much respect that I was so lucky that I got to live, breathe, and eat for years because I wouldn't leave until I knew everything they knew and what they had to learn. And I even went and sat in the school where I was learning from them when they were sitting, and I was at the desk looking at their photos on the
Yeah,
wall. Can you imagine
yeah,
that they were there exactly where I was, 10 years, 20 years ago? So I felt like I've sacrificed everything, money. I was making a lot of money, remember, as a projectionist.
yeah, yeah.
I sacrificed everything just to learn, and it paid off. Why? Is because it became my whole life.
It's
And
just the,
it was,
the memories as well. Like you can't buy that, And when we went over there for to do the book and video, and we did a
yep,
whole
remember?
about 3 hours of Tita basics, and we filmed all that with the Grandmaster. That
Yep.
was so good.
I've got the interview still. We've still got the interview,
Yeah,
remember?
with Hardgood
With Hagocho.
And
And
Hataki.
how Duncan? Yep, yep, yep. I've still got all this stuff that needs to be translated, that needs to be eventually put online, which I will get because now I have an editor that's working with me, and I've got a Chinese man who's coming with me to Hong Kong this year. This Chinese guy is the one who's helping me to build up and to make all my websites and everything that I'm going to come out bigger and better than I ever did before. Why? Is because I now have people who know what they're doing. And also, there's a big problem when you got someone like me or someone like yourself, and that is you have multiple talents. And it's very difficult to sell that to the public because most people think that you're just this or you're just that.
Yeah,
But what happens when you're three or four things? What happens when you're five, six things? We are multi-talented teachers who are in the healing and health industry. We're also in the spiritual, and we're in the martial arts. And then, of course, we do bodybuilding and nutrition. It's just that what's really good about us is that we are the sages, we are the warriors, we are the future of this kind of martial arts and warrior mind,
Yeah.
and Buddha mind.
Yeah.
Why? Is because the world needs more men like us. Because see, we are not here to uplift ourselves and say, hey, look, I'm fucking the best. Here, I'm Bruce Lee. No, no, no. We don't do that.
We're
What
just
we're
trying
doing
to
is
pass on an art
we are
completely
passing
the
on
best
an
we can.
art, exactly, a tradition. That's why I said to myself, okay, I I need to do something drastically because I had all these schools, I have all this equipment, I've got everything. What am I going to do? Just stop? No, no, it's impossible. So I've finally worked out. It's taken me 40 years, but I finally worked out how I can sell myself. And when I say sell myself, I'm not doing it because I want to make money.
Mm.
I'm actually doing it because I want to keep the tradition and the art of the warrior alive. And by
Speaking,
doing that,
yeah,
yeah,
sorry to cut you off, keep going.
yeah. So by actually keeping the warrior art and everything alive, especially the Shaolin Yao Kumun, we have great benefits. And what are they? Well, of course, I can go to Hong Kong anytime I want. I can get whatever formulas, I can get them to make them for me. I can do all the formulas, the dita jiao. Everything you want has those privileges because we've earned it, right?
Absolutely.
What's really good is that now we do not have to ask permission because we are now it. We
Yeah.
are in the stage of what they call the master stage, right?
Yeah.
I still think I'm
Senior,
still
we're
young.
the seniors.
Yeah, we're the senior teachers. I don't see myself as a grandmaster until I'm 75. So I've still got 15 more years. And I don't feel anything. I don't have this, oh, I'm too tired or my back's hurting. I can't do it. I still do the splits. I still do everything that I want to do because I want to always be the example, not only to my children, but to the future. Because see, there is always someone out there and they're looking. And when I was a young boy, and I loved the Shaolin movies, and I used to go with Leung Chung to the Jet Li Shaolin movies, and it
Yeah.
was so good to sit down beside him and talk to him, and to say what I can in Chinese, and how much I love the Shaolin style. And Leung Chung would look at me, and he'd say, "Yeah, it's nice," and I said, "No, I want to do it. I want to actually do it." And he thought I was joking,
Yeah.
but it is. That's why,
I just don't, I
I
just don't think they were ready for Guelos that were committed. And
oh yeah,
and
you
then and the committed that we had outshone the seniors of Yolkul Moon because
correct.
more energy, more time, more respect,
Did
and
you
the love of
see, correct, when you and I were there, did you ever see any of them dedicate themselves hours every day? Did you see any of them live, breathe, and eat it? It wasn't because see, they considered themselves that Chinese is just normal. This is what we do, and then anyway, we're going to get married, have children, have a house and mortgage, and then we're going to get out of it,
yeah.
right? And so you and I, maybe a few others, um, were always, I considered as we are going to be the future. We are always going to be the future because we don't stop and we don't give up. And that's it. And that's why I dedicated my life. And by the time I got to 50, I realized Australia has a big problem. How are we going to keep this art alive when it's so expensive just to rent?
Well,
And then,
you've also got James now as head of the Yolkul Moon.
yep,
Ming's now gone, right? He's quit.
yep,
He does want
yep.
to be part of it. He may have
Actually, James, James actually has tried a few times to communicate with me. He's
Mm,
actually tried a few times to communicate with, and I've actually spoken to him, I think, twice with him and his wife. And it wasn't about coming back or anything. It was just about what are you doing and what's happening with the Alcumun. And he just wanted to find out because he would have heard a lot from Hardakin because I go to Hong Kong almost every year now.
yeah.
And that's where Hardakin is like, oh wow, this is great. They call me the pioneer of the Philippines
I love
because I
Hadakin is a
yeah,
really nice man. I have much respect for him.
yep,
We learnt the spear versus the three section together in his Mulgwin as
that's right.
well.
It's
We,
one of my favorite forms, even though I can't do it with anyone except for you, you bastard. You know, I
it
learned it with
wasn't,
you, and I've got the video of us doing it and everything. And I'm going, I wish I could really demonstrate and do that properly because that's one of the best ones that I love doing, especially
yeah,
the forms.
that was a beautiful
And
man.
my best forms, the best forms that I like are the stick forms, the stick fighting weapons.
Mm,
I mean, they're simple. I've learned with the Alcumun, and it can either be complicated or simple. I've learned that simple is best. Why? Is because see, when it comes to fighting, especially real fighting, it's always the simple that gets it, not the complicated, not the full-on more cure, blah
yeah,
blah blah.
just a
One
punch.
minute, just punch. Because
Yeah,
see, how many times when I was in the nightclub or whatever, how many times did I have the opportunity to even get the second technique in? I couldn't because as soon as you hit them with the forearm, bang, game over. Are you
yeah.
going, what? Just that?
Just
That's all it took.
drop him with a sip kill.
What the hell? Yeah. I said, what the hell? I didn't know I was that strong. But you don't until you actually have to use it in combat. So I've got a lot of stories I could tell you, but we'll get into that in the future. And of course, people can read my book about how I was in jail, for almost 3 years. And I fought for my life, man. And boy, have I told people if it wasn't for martial arts,
Because
I would.
I rang you up when you're in jail in
Yeah,
the
you
Philippines to
did.
see if you're
Yep,
okay. No,
yep,
see, I always
yep.
got your back, brother.
Oh God, yeah. I never forget you rang me up and you said, "Hey man, don't let him touch you. Smash him with a phoenix fist."
Fucking love. But
Oh mate,
getting back
they
to
yeah.
your nutrition, you're also a vegetarian, right?
Well, to tell you the truth,
You always ate clean.
yes, yes. Look, I tell people because I used to be a monk, right? So I tell people I try not to make food a religion. Now, if you truly want to be spiritual and if you truly want to connect with the divine or the divinity within you, then you should stick to an alkaline, vegetarian, clean diet. Now, that's almost become impossible now, thanks to the usual, industries
GMO.
and pharmaceuticals and GMO. Everyone doesn't realize that now, since I've been in the healthcare industry, because as a practicing traditional Chinese medical doctor, and as a nutritional therapist, and as of course doing everything from essential oils to Chinese herbal medicine to acupuncture and massage and bone setting, I have learned over 40 years of actual door to door, house to house, being a new modern day barefoot doctor, which I'm sort of revapping and bringing it back into the fold, that we have to understand something very, very important about our food, about our health, and about diet. And that is, it's very simple because the powers to be poison our food, poison our water, and poison our air, and they also poison our mind. And when I say poison, they put in almost 99% of everything chemicals, synthetics, poisons, and GMO.
Oh, and they spray the fucking air with chemtrails every
And
day.
then they're spraying the air with chemtrails. And then look at it this way. They're doing the most insane things like trying to block out the sun. So you block out the sun, we all die, and there's no more food, and everything dies. So the insanity the insanity of this global climate change and all these people from Bill Gates to Schwab.
They're all evil.
This, well, these are people that the world is going to need warriors. Because why? Is because it's going to be the masses that take everyone down. Why? Is because I say it very simply. Show me anyone who's willing to drop their cell phone. And I'll tell you now, if you can't throw away your cell phone, you're not ready. You're not ready to be a warrior, because see, the cell phone is actually the thing. Can you imagine if there was no cell phone? There would be no pandemic. Can you imagine if there's no cell phone? You wouldn't know no news. There would be no news. The only news you'd ever hear would be on the news. And even if that was on, people don't believe that anymore anyway.
True.
So at the end of the day, I see myself, and that's why I call myself a Shambhala warrior, because it's a legendary prophecy from the Tibetan Taoists and the Tibetan Buddhists, who said that there will come a time when the world is destroying itself and when people do not ever have any more emotions or any more feelings to look up and to talk to people. Everything is going to be on cell phones. Everything's going to be in your brain. You're going to be an absolute cyborg.
Oh,
And
that Elon Musk is trying that neuron link,
of course,
consciousness.
listen,
and that. What a fucking
they're
joke.
going to get everything they want.
Yeah.
And the reason is because they're going to sell it the same way they sold the cell phone. And I know for a fact, as you and I have been growing up and we've been watching it, is that you can't stop it. You can't stop this robots, this technology. You can't stop it. So people ask me, oh, what are we going to do? So
No,
I'm
the
going to
people,
keep
the people need to wake up.
Well,
And
let me
then
tell you something.
when they do, it's going to be way too late.
That's exactly right. And that's why I say to people, if you haven't woken up by now, you are already gone.
Yeah, true.
You understand?
Yeah.
So I said to myself, like I've been telling a lot of people, and this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to keep more of a bit of a surprise, is that I'm developing a way that it's not to convince people, it's not to get people to wake up. I'm developing a way to speak and to tell, or to at least share with you, the possible remedies that you can do that you don't have to be part of it. And I'm going to go pretty deep into it eventually one day. And when I get the websites and everything up, I'll be teaching everyone how to purify and how to detoxify and how to chelate and to open up your pineal gland. You see, you cannot do this and you cannot ever succeed to awaken. Now, there's two different sections of this so-called spiritual awakening or woke or enlightenment. There's two things. Someone who's awake, let's just talk a little spiritual with warriors.
Yeah.
Someone who's awake doesn't need to be saying it. That's the first thing. Okay? You'll never hear me saying, I'm awake, I've done it. No. Let me tell you something. Anyone who says that, he's already not awake. Okay? Second, if you have anything to do with, let's just say, society, or let's just say money, let's just say community, you're also not awake. And I'll explain why. You see, if you haven't worked out already that you're part of this matrix, this illusion of Maya, then it's taken me 40 years to wake up to this illusion that everything you do is absolutely meaningless.
Well, the
because
Buddha
it's
said
part,
that too,
yeah,
right? And
correct.
if you don't know, Sam is also a Buddhist. We actually we used to look
Yep.
after and cook for a Buddhist. What was this guy's name?
Yeah, uh, it's well, there's a few monks that we used to look after, but
The one down near Sifu's
yeah,
house.
yeah.
We cooked for him at the
Yeah,
retreat.
yeah. He's still got his monastery.
What's his name? Binda 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 Binda.
Kantipalo. Kantipalo.
I could never get his name.
Bhikkhu, Bhikkhu Kantipalo, because they use Sanskrits,
Yeah.
right? And yes, yes, I have a very long line from since I was, a 19-year-old as a Buddhist monk.
Because
Um, you know,
you're the Theravada Buddhism, not Mahayana.
no, no, Theravada, which means the forest, living in the forest, monks,
Yeah, because
and simple.
you did go to that retreat, that Buddhist temple in
Yep,
North Sydney.
yep,
I
yep.
remember
And I was a monk.
I drove you there.
Yep, yep, yep. Now, they have influenced me, but you know what I tell people? You know, whether you're Buddhist, Taoist, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Jew, it doesn't matter what you are. We all know that there is something divine within us and without. And all we have to do is, and this is a secret that everyone should know, that everything you need to know is just within you. You don't need anything else.
Yeah.
And that's why I've also stopped my, I stopped my wanting to know more. Because see, when you're awakened, it's not about how much you know, it's about how much you're willing to let go and to just be.
Mm.
You see, I've spent all my life, like you, doing the martial arts. Now, my goal is not to win championships. My goal is not to be the best fighter. My goal is not to impress people. And my goal is to just lose my ego and just to be a good teacher, to just keep the arts alive.
Yeah.
So you could pass it through. So when you get to that stage and you humble yourself, it's wonderful because see, that's when you are truly awakening to your true self, to who you are. What's your
Mm.
purpose? Why are you here? Why are you here, Gary? Why am I here? We are here to try and pass something on, and that is the legacy of Long Chang, the legacy of our teachers. Because see, as long as we keep training and doing what we do, we're keeping him alive. And that's why, the same with the medicine, the same with the food, the same with everything that I'm trying to teach is that I'm passing it on to my children, I'm passing it on to people. And I always believe that this knowledge is not ours, it is divine and it's meant to be given because knowledge and health, wisdom, spirituality, it's our right to know it, not to keep it, not to keep it a secret. It's our right to know it and to give it. Now, when you do give it, there's a bit of problem with that, as you and I know, because people just like to abuse it and just take whatever they can. They couldn't care less about where's the respect, right? So I realized that it's all going to die. It's all going to die.
Oh, we're all going
90,
to die anyway.
yeah, that's for sure. 99% of most teachers, most martial arts are going to be dead. Why? And that is because if the system gets its way, how are you going to learn it when you won't even leave your house?
Mm.
And that's going to happen. That's why they're poisoning the air. That's why they're poisoning the water. That's why they want you to sit inside the house, send from Amazon whatever you need, and send for your food and live on the virtual reality and have a good life.
Oh,
And that's,
there's too much other shit going on in the world for people to be like us, to be addicted to the kung fu. We're about to have a break in a minute,
yep,
so
yep,
we'll chat in just a moment, Sam. We'll have a break. We're
yep,
about to run out of time, and we'll be back
sure.
for this break. Welcome back, everyone, to the Tao of Kung Fu podcast with Sifu Gary and Sifu Jen Sam. Welcome back, brother. Little break in
Yeah,
between. You're in Australia at the moment because of working to go back to the Philippines where you reside with your family. You
correct.
mentioned that you have a retreat building at the moment called the Shambhala. Can you tell us a little
Yeah.
about that?
Well, you know, going back just before the pandemic, my dream was always to give my children and to give myself a place what I call sanctuary and a place where I can train, a place where I can be myself. And I've been going to the Philippines for over 30 years. So it's not a place that I'm a stranger to. Of course, I have children there. Of course, I've been married, and of course, I've got a numerous amount of partners, as I've got plenty of children.
You've got
And of course,
you got a tribe. You can have your own
yeah,
lion dance, man.
oh yeah, oh yeah, that's for sure. Because I've got now I've got 14 children altogether with my new wife. So yeah, I've always dreamed of building my own temple, or let's just call it, I've been looking for my own tribe. So I said to myself, is it not possible that we are the creators? So whatever we want, we can really create. And the one thing wonderful about the Philippines is that not only are they still way behind and they're not so much into the technology, they're not so much into all this kind of stuff. They they're more still into friendship, students teaching, learning, all this kind of thing, and they're into the old values. So I said to myself, what's the best gift I can give to my children? And that was freedom. That's the only thing I can think of. You know, the Mel Gibson Braveheart,
Mm,
freedom. So I said to myself, when the pandemic hit, I said to myself, as soon as I get a chance to go back, it's time for me to find that place where I can call freedom and I can call home,
mm,
and where I can build a temple, or let's just call it, I call it the Museum of Yao Kungmun and, Shaolin Temple, and just basically the museum for, Yao Kungmun itself.
I
So I
remember
thought,
when we visit there, and I remember you got the foundation for the International Shaolin Yolgumwen Federation or something at the
yeah,
time, and so
yeah,
it's been a part of Sifu Sam's dream for a long time, and
yep,
I really hope that really fucking kicks off because I'll be over there. My brother is married to a Filipino, and uh, he's got two houses, for one for him and the family. And he said
amazing.
once my parents pass on, because I'm going to be looking after mum and dad soon, and once they pass, he said move over there with him.
That's
And
it.
also, one of the brother-in-laws just bought a gym and asked me to teach there.
Wow.
So I'll be over there with you soon, brother.
Oh, it'll be cool. What I love about the martial artists in the Philippines, they're still old-fashioned, they're still traditional. They really love to combat, and they do their arnis, they do their knife fighting. They love real fighting. And that's what I like about Filipinos. The Filipino martial arts and the Filipino ikrisma and the arnis, the kali, whatever you're using in the martial arts of the Philippines, I've combined them into my art as well. I even teach military. I teach a lot of people different things. I combine everything that I want to combine because it's so hard to find someone who really wants to become a teacher like we are. It really is.
Because
And
Dan, because
only
Dan,
those,
sorry,
what's
mate.
that, Dan? Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Dan was teaching.
He is. Yeah, he is. He is. He's only up to fourth level or fifth level.
Yeah.
So, he's still very small, but he teaches the Arnis, he does the Alkumun. And yes, I mean, he's trying to do his best. It's very difficult when you don't have the resources. And of course, he went through a heart attack.
Yes,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
was there to
I hope
fix him
you're
up.
okay, brother. Dan,
Yeah.
he actually he he
He started,
he hosted us and looked after us when we were there. So I have a lot of respect,
correct.
for Dan, and his Filipino stick and sword knife is
Yeah, yeah.
it's
He's a
top
he's a
notch.
black He's a black belt in his own right in, I think, karate it is.
Yeah, yeah, he was
So
very good.
yeah, yeah. So my whole idea was to build a place where I don't have money. So I'm doing it from scratch, and I'm building it from coconut and from what they call coconut lumber and also bamboo. And
Mm,
the reason for that is because I found out that the best solution to the problems that everyone has is to just get rid of it. So get rid of the Wi-Fi, get rid of all the internet, get rid of the cell phones. Then you have no more problem. You have
mm,
no more surveillance. You have no more problem. Now, everyone will say to me, oh, but that's too radical. You know, you can't exist. You can't live today without that. Yes, they're right. But that's not what it's like in the mountains. And that's not what it's like living a real life, because we know what it's like when there were no cell phones. And we didn't think that you got no life if you don't have a cell phone.
Oh, we
We
had
just
a
picked
better
up the
life.
phone.
We had a better life.
We had a great life. We went out. We
Yeah.
enjoyed each other. You
Yeah.
had company. You'd sit down at a table and you'd talk. You won't be like this on a fucking cell
Yeah.
phone.
You'd
So
drive and meet each other and get a
correct.
train or a bus all the time, you know?
I'm I'm very much now in a survival preparation because see, it makes me laugh, right? People say, oh, you can't live without money or you can't do anything without money. They're right
Mm.
if you're in society. But this is where I digress. I'm going to show that even someone who's got no money can learn to live on the land and you don't need it. And why? It's because see, you're going to not have money anyway. It's going to be digital in the nowhere land. It's going to have an expiry on it, and you're going to still work just to pay your bills, and you're just going to be a slave to the system.
Yeah.
That's the end of it. Your whole life. Your whole life is nothing but paying for nothing.
It's shit.
And I said,
It's shit. It's absolute shit fight, you know?
yeah, well, it's only going to get worse. It's never going to get better. And they want that. And if they want that, you can't stop it because
Mm.
what they want, they get. They
Because
always do.
you just grow all your own food. I mean, it's not that hard, you
That's
know?
it. There's one thing I've learned living for 5 years in the mountains and building this community, or what I call the Shambhala Village Project, is where it's going to be a boot camp for Yao Kunwen. It's going to be a boot camp for military. It's going to be a boot camp for exercise, yoga, meditation. It's also, I'm building a university of life where I'm teaching the medicine and I'm teaching all the arts and I'm asking all the helots, the shamans, I'm asking all the people all over the world to come and to host themselves because I believe in a community of freedom and everyone can be who they want to be. They can dress how they want to dress. There is no discrimination of religious, race, sexuality, or age.
Mm.
Everything is there and it's free the way God intended it. Everything is meant to be free the way God intended. And I tell people, where in the world do you have a forest where you already have all the food you need? Coconuts, bananas, jackfruits, pineapples, papaya. Everything is there. Only someone like our divine God, Krishna, Buddha, whatever you want to call them, only a tropical country can give you a forest where you can survive and you don't need to eat the fucking food that they've trained everyone like dogs to eat. You see, we've been trained. Everything you've been taught for the past 150 years is all about listening to what they tell you you should eat. It's actually all a lie. There is no pizzas. There is no hamburgers. There is no chips. There is no all this goddamn fast food. It never existed. It's actually not food. It's just toxic chemicals put together in a way that it's so addictive that once you're addicted to it, you can't stop, just like coffee. You see, they've created humans to already be robots because whatever they say, people follow. And that's
Absolutely.
the problem.
Even organic food, it's still fucking
You're
spray.
finished.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They're putting,
There's no real
now,
organic unless you go to a
now,
farmer's market.
you
But
have to go to a farmer's market or you got to grow it yourself.
yeah,
That's correct.
you know,
And that's why,
even the organic, they're still hitting them with antibiotics and all sorts of
oh
shit.
yeah, oh yeah, they won't tell you and they will never tell you. And they're going to put the bugs into everything. They're going to do everything. So when you're looking at martial arts, if we look at it as teachers, how the hell can you perform as a really good martial artist if your health and all the food is poisoned and shit?
Oh, you
And this
couldn't.
is why I decided to build my own sanctuary. I've followed like in the lines of Sadhguru. I followed in the lines of what's that other guy, the Taoist guy in Thailand now, the
Uh,
guy who does all
Van Chia.
Mantak Chia, very smart. They
Yeah.
build their own communities, their own place. You see, I'm looking for people like yourself. I'm looking for teachers. I'm looking for anyone, even if you only teach English. Why? Is because we're going to build a new earth, a new humanity. Because see, everything that happened in the past when it came to money, possessions, ownership, the illusion of ownership, that's all it is. It's
Mm.
an illusion that you own something, but you really own nothing.
Oh.
Because when you die, your body doesn't even go with you. So it's all meaningless. When you get to these levels, that's what we call awakening. But
Mm.
you're not enlightened. You're just awakening to a truth, a reality that you are the one that creates it. You create the reality you want. I wanted to create a reality of freedom for my children, and I wanted to be with a beautiful, a beautiful woman and to be happy ever after, which is what everyone wants, right? But how many people are willing to sacrifice and to change? And they're the three philosophies I've been teaching, even my students: change, adapt, evolve. Because my
Mm.
dad told me that, and he was military, and he said, you are the most powerful human if you can change, adapt, evolve. Don't get involved in countries and money and societies and communities. All these things are bread and circus designed to keep you in their system, like football in Australia and like football in America, like hockey in Canada, like soccer in Europe. All this is the Roman Empire still doing what it's been doing for thousands of years: bread and circus, divide and conquer.
Mm. Even
That's
politics.
the truth.
Yeah.
That's the truth. That's the truth. And they couldn't keep on, they couldn't keep this hierarchy of kings, queen, princesses, emperors. It didn't work anymore. So
Mm.
we created government. They're the ones who pull the string, and people will think that they're with them because they're voted in, and they're not voted in. There is, I tell everyone, even here in Australia, let's face a fact, who's been voted in? Who voted for this guy? Who voted for the one before? They were never voted in. They were brought in because it's just by vote in the cabinet.
Look, even the voting system's bullshit.
Oh, everything,
That,
everything.
that, that, that was already picked before the votes. Like everyone knows that.
And that's why we have to learn. This is what I've learned now that I'm in my 60s. I've learned that you must look after yourself, your family, and your tribe. Why? Is because if you try to follow or try to please other people, you're only going to go down with them.
Mm.
And that's why when the pandemic came in, I went straight into the mountains. Never had any problems. Never had to do nothing. I never had to comply. And do you know why they had and everyone complied and 5 billion people did? Is because now they're only starting to realize that they've all been conned.
Yeah.
Now they're all starting to realize you've been poisoned. And now they're only starting to realize that, my God, we've been lied to. What do you mean? You've been lied to from day one you were born.
True, true. And,
And
and, and
that's why
yeah.
I'm coming when I start to come out, and the only reason I haven't gone online yet, and I haven't gone online for nearly 5 years, was because of my setup in the Philippines.
Mm.
So much money, so much of my time and effort, of course, my children, my own personal problems, and then, of course, the books and the videos that we are going to release. There's tons of them. Everything is going to come out. And on top of all that, I've had my own personal hard work that I've had to do to awaken to my true personal purpose of why am I here? You know? And I started to stop challenging myself, wanting to be the best acupuncturist, the best herbalist, the best bone setter, the best kung fu teacher, the best this, the best that. Nah, nah, nah. I stopped it. I said to myself, enough is enough. I am the best. I'm good at what I do, and that's all that matters. And now what I'm doing is trying to find my tribe, trying to find that freedom, because the world's going to split. it's going to split so bad in the next 1 or 2 more years, you will not be able to recognize it. And
Yeah.
the reason is it's all got to do with one thing: money.
Oh, it always, isn't it?
Everything that no,
You can't even live these days. Like just paying
yep,
the house off by myself,
no, no,
impossible. The
impossible.
the bills, the
Yep,
insurance,
yep, correct,
the rates,
correct.
food rates,
No,
land rates. Like you can't keep up. You need to be on like two hundred thousand
everything
dollars.
everything is by design, Gary.
Of
And it's
course.
not just Australia, as you and I know. It's all over the world. It's actually even my wife, my asawa in the Philippines. She just told me recently, she says, honey, the money you're giving me years ago, we used to be able to buy a lot of stuff. Now, even in the Philippines, everything is going up and up and up. And I don't know how Filipinos are surviving. They're not. And this is by design. So you and I, you got to realize something. You can't fight this because, you never hear about it, right? But I tell everyone, the problem with everyone is they're all trying to kill the snake by cutting off its tail, by cutting it off. No one goes for the head of the snake. Did you notice that no one talks about the thousands of trillionaires who
Mm,
own and run the country? No one talks about them. They're not allowed to be online. They're not allowed to be on the air. They're not allowed to be on the media. They're not allowed to be on television. There's nothing you will see about the Rothschilds, nothing you'll see about the secret families that no one knows about that own half of the world.
of course.
Now, we have allowed that because we've allowed them, to separate us and to divide us. So I believe that it's only through people like ourselves who are warriors, who are truth seekers, and who are fighting for humanity will be able to uplift and find our tribes where we can live in peace and harmony. You won't be able to stop the technology. You
Well,
won't be able to stop the money. You won't be able to stop all the poisons and the fast foods. No one's going to be able to do that. Why? Is because they've already got
they're all
5
in on it.
billion.
They're all in on it anyway.
Correct.
You
Because they
know.
like it. They
Yeah.
actually like it. You can't stop them. How do you tell someone if they're already addicted? You can't. So I tell everyone, if you can't, if you can't seem to get away, but you're trying to get out of the matrix, you must find your tribe. You will not survive by yourself. I don't care who you are. No one will survive by themselves unless you have your tribe. And that's why I'm looking for martial artists, especially. I'm looking for warriors. I'm looking for teachers. I'm looking for smart people, people who know you don't need money to have what you need. And especially now we have the technology of free energy. You don't. And that's why I'm working on every single front to finally build a Shaolin temple in the Philippines for Yao Kunwen.
Yeah.
And it can be done. Everything can be done. It's just a matter of right time, right place. And
Well,
all I'm doing is just
even
doing what I have to.
even now, like they've pushed up retirement age to 67 to 68. Like
I know.
you're half fucking dead, man, before you even get to enjoy life.
That's what they want. And that's what makes me laugh the most. I love this photo that I saw on Facebook. And you've got this old lady in a very nice sports car, but she's so old and so gray. And she's going, I waited all my life to enjoy to drive this car. And when you look at it, you start to realize why you need to start living your life now. You're not dead. You're not disabled in bed. You're not mentally disabled. You're healthy. You still can have a wife or a woman. I laugh at people who they're living in their $1 million mansions, or they're living with all their money and their cars. They've got everything they need, but they just don't have a company, or they don't have a wife, or they don't have children, or whatever they don't have. There's always something they don't have. And guess what? They're miserable. They're complaining. And do you know what I tell them? Never complain. You want to know who can complain? A woman who's in a cardboard box in the middle of a city when it's raining with children on her breasts trying to survive,
Yeah,
even just to get rice.
it's
And
shocking.
You're complaining as Australians, a lot of Australians complain when they're getting $500 every goddamn week. They don't have enough. See what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why I got out of Australia. I only come to Australia to work, make my money, and I take it over there. It goes a lot further, and it's helped me to build Shambhala Village. And when it's ready, which should be by the end of this year, at least the administration, the Kung Fu, and the medical side, and the storage, what we call survival, food storage side, then we're ready to start accepting those who want to come there. And I give them free land on my 10 hectares of beautiful, pristine waterfalls, lakes, water. We got free water. It's one of the last places left on earth where
I'll
it's
be
it's
definitely
not
there to
destroyed.
visit and help you out.
Wait until you see it. You're going to go, that's it. I'm not going to live in the city. You don't want to live in the city. I don't want it anyway. It's too noisy.
So
I'm very sensitive
whereabouts in the
in
mountain?
Davao.
Whereabouts?
Davao Oriental, Davao Oriental, which is right in the mountains with the Mandaya clan. I live with the tribes. That's what I like about it. You know, anything you need, the tribes will help you with. And they still live like they lived 100 years ago. I love it, other than a few things that they like. And, everything they eat, everything they do, even with their coconut wine, it's all organic. It's all natural. No hangovers. It's not like, grape wine like they make in Europe. They don't make it like that anymore. But imagine if you had the original grape wine fermented,
Mm.
it would knock you out. It would be real with the seeds. Nowadays, you notice they're taking seeds out of everything.
Oh
So
yeah.
you can't grow.
Even if
No
you
more growing.
even if you grow them, they're shit.
They're dead.
Yeah.
Yep, because the soils are depleted anyway. That's why you're right when you said even the organics is useless because if the soil is depleted, it's useless. There's no taste to it either. This is where I think you and I understand that when we have children and when we have good friends, it's great that someone, because even my best friends here, like Darren and Paulie, these are my best friends I've had for like 50, 40 years, 20 years since school. They've always said, it's really cool that there's someone who's got a backup out there that if I've just had it with the world, I can just pack up my bags and go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. By next year, I'll already be inviting teachers and people who want to join me. And by 2026 and 2027, I'm expecting to already have the full Shambhala Village project and university up and running, which is going to teach everyone pressure points, acupuncture, herbal medicine, bone setting, everything that I've learned. And I'm going to invite other great masters and teachers from Malaysia, Hong Kong, China, all the Shaolin masters. This is what I dream of doing, and I'm going to achieve it because I've still got another 40 or 50 years to go, and
Let's
I'll
hope
do it.
let's hope you fucking live that long. I probably won't
I,
though.
I don't care. I don't care. I will do whatever it takes. That's why, of course, I'm very, very heavily into fasting. Sometimes I do 3 days no food, and then 4 days I will eat. But the reason I do that is because I go into very heavy meditational retreats and I just sit and meditate. I focus. I do my yoga. I do my Tai Chi, my Qigong. These are the things that all Kung Fu masters do. Everyone knows it. Kung Fu masters don't go around doing this full on, Kung Fu fighting and, hard stuff and breaking. What for? What are you going to take on an army? They just got a gun. They go, whoosh. Now they got a laser on a drone and they just kill you anyway. It's
Exactly.
useless, absolutely useless. The martial arts today is really all about discipline for yourself because if you discipline yourself, the secret is that you are a lot easier and you are more capable of becoming enlightened because the all warriors who fight for justice are also inside very spiritually driven and their spirituality is what makes them go towards the divine, which is what? Peace, humble, love, respect, and honor. And that's
Oh,
why I love those.
at the end of the day, it's just you don't want to fuck around anymore with bullshit. I try to get away from it all. I mean,
Well,
apart from stirring the pot, as in with me martial arts, like I speak from the heart. I've always done that,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it does get up people's asses or whatever. But
mm,
I'll always speak the truth. And at the end of the day, at this age, I just don't want anything to do with this
yeah.
bullshit anymore, you know?
You have to, yeah, sometimes you have to understand everyone is unique, everyone follows their own desires. That's why there's so many different type of teachers. I used to wonder also, how come, why would you study from this idiot? This idiot that actually knows nothing. But we really don't know. And I've learned to be just humble. Why? Is because at the end of the day, no one is the best. No
Mm.
one is the ultimate.
No, there's
And
always
we're all
like that.
human and we all get old and we have the privilege to get old. And at least if we can still keep on doing our martial arts until we die, which is my dream, to do it until I die, standing there and just
Same me.
stand over,
I said it to a
no
few
problem.
students. I said,
Yeah.
if you find me or hear that I'm dead in the backyard or in my gym,
At least
don't
you got
cry,
the weapon with you.
don't ever cry because I died fucking training, man, and that's all I want
Yeah.
to do. Yeah.
Just make sure you got a kwando or a sword or a sit. And just, and just when you fall down, just hold it and put a smile on your face.
No,
I
just
died
just
with
just fall on it, like
he died by falling on his own sword. That's pretty
no,
funny.
but Hardcore Jung also he died at the part training, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, that's
So
how
you see,
I just want to go out doing something I love rather than I'm stuck in a bed wasting away. So
yeah,
Kung Fu for me is to keep
yeah,
mentally,
yeah, of
it helps mentally sometimes,
course,
but
of course.
physically it keeps the body moving, and that's the most important thing because
Yep,
a lot of friends I have are
true.
just sitting on the couch. They're non-martial artists. They used to be footy players and now they got beer guts. And if you're going to be running spiritually, you got to be clean inside as well, right? The energy needs to
Correct,
be as pure as possible. Otherwise,
correct,
it's,
correct.
yeah, I think it's a
Well,
lot
well,
harder.
this is what I tell a lot of people when they ask me about enlightenment, when they ask me about monks and gurus and everything, and whether you believe it's all real or fake. And do you know what I say to them? I say to them, okay, let's be a little bit, let's be a little bit realistic. Isn't it that since the days that you cannot even recall, all the sages, all the philosophers, all the healers, Hippocrates, all of them, all the monks, all the gurus, all the yogis, all this, all the monks in Europe, all of them have 4 or 5 things in common. Do you know what it is? One is that they all are spiritual and driven by spirit. Two, they all have one common denominator, and it's all to do with the breath, breathing.
Of course, the quality of breathing. Yeah,
Three, they all, it doesn't matter who they were, it doesn't matter where they came from, they all meditated. Four is that they all, at those days, they all had pure and clean food and water and fresh air. And five is that this is the important part, is that they always knew that they can communicate with their inner divinity because that was their strength. That's why a lot of people ask me, oh, they all see me on the internet with no beard, nice short hair. I look so good. I look so wonderful. And I say to them, yeah, but that was the look that I wanted everyone to see me as I was a barefoot doctor and I was doing medical. And if I was dressed up and if I was like this, which is sort of surprises me because everyone in society seems to have this sort of stigma where they see that if any man who's got long hair and he's got a long beard, he's either a hippie or a bum or he's like a guru or something like that, right? And that's by design, designed by the what I call social engineering, the people who brainwash people, right? Now, I tell people, you're religious, right? Oh, yeah, I'm Catholic. Oh, yeah, I'm this. 1 minute. You're Catholic. Your religion. You love Jesus, right? What did Jesus have? Beard, long hair.
Yeah, they
That's
all,
why it was really funny because when I went to the Philippines
because they
in the
couldn't afford a fucking barber. The bum, Jesus, the bum couldn't afford fucking get his shave.
That's it. And it was so funny when I went to the Philippines, right? Because my hair was, of course, darker and all this was dark before, when you start getting to your 60s and 70s, it all starts to go white. And I would walk around without a hat or anything. And all I would do is I'll show you. Now, tell me, who do I look like if this is all dark?
I know who you look like.
Moses
No,
or
no,
Samson?
you look like Charles Manson.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Even in that case, all I had to do is just go on a street in the Philippines and just go, food, food, you know. So it just surprises me that, everyone in the Bible all had beards, long hair. Abraham, Moses, Jesus. Yeah, oh, but
Even the
this,
Sumerian, you see,
yeah,
all had the long, yeah. But
and
even
also
even
not the
her,
Sumerians, Babylonians, the
yeah,
Nymphalians, all of them had beards. Actually, it's interesting. All gods, even the pagan gods, all of them had beards, long hair.
because
Look at
the hair is an antenna.
an antenna. And it's already been proven, and now it's already scientific. I've
Well,
already got the evidence.
then poor me, I'm fucked. I'm good, bro. I just have to
Please, please, can you build me an antenna onto my head?
just
You
a
know that,
couple
you
of
know that Martian,
I got
the
more
Martian.
hair in my ear.
It's so funny, but you know why, don't you? It's because of all the good food you used to eat when you were younger. I know what you used to eat. Bloody hell, fucking hell. Oh,
I used to do a lot of bad things,
oh
but
man.
anyway, brother, we're coming up
Yep,
to finishing. Oh, it's been an
yep.
awesome chat. It's always
We
great
could
to catch
chat
up with you.
forever. There'll be a lot more to come, of course.
Exactly. This will be only the first one. We're gonna have to catch up again, and we'll
Yep.
talk some more shit later on.
Yeah, yeah. What we do is that, like I said to you, it'll be really wonderful to get all the students and people who want to ask us questions on martial arts or whatever else they want to learn, or how they can get better in developing a Phoenix Fist, which I've developed the Phoenix Fist push-ups. You know, people don't know how do you develop the Phoenix Fist really well. I've got a great push-up system where I develop my Phoenix Fist, and you do it in a way where you don't end up with calluses and everything. Remember the cotton palm?
Yeah,
Remember? Because if you do too much of the hard, you're going to end up with problems like ha hon
that's
hong.
why
That's why I didn't do it.
always keep saying start with rice. It's soft,
Yep,
and
yep.
just always I
Then go to beans.
always go
Yep.
back to the soft.
Yep,
Always go
yep,
back
yep.
to
You
the soft.
have to, because if you don't have your dita jiao, if you don't have your wine and your dita jiao and your medicine, you are going to have a lot of bone and internal arthritic problems. The funks up.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I've always remembered the story of Hao Hun Hong from Hao Good Jung.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
never forget that. And I said, oh no, I'm not doing that anymore. Screw that. And let's face it. Let's face it. Are you ever going to get a chance to ever use it?
Unless you're
Probably.
fighting in competition. But at our age now, I
And
think,
even then, an our age, forget it. I mean, if they're going to be zombies and we have to kill them, that's great, but that's not going to happen.
well, if I'm
You
at
know
the
what I mean?
retreat and I have to kill a fucking pig, I'm gonna have to kill a pig, bro. And just fucking smack it.
Or get,
I need some
or,
food.
or get that
Oh,
cow like, or get that cow like Hao Hong did and rip his head off.
all right, brother.
I gotta eat. I gotta eat my beef. Hey, that's
It's been
great.
a pleasure. I'm so
It
glad
has,
you've been on.
brother. Always a pleasure. Looking forward to our next meeting. And of course, let's
We've
stay
got
in
so
touch.
much more to say. Like we've
Of
done
course.
so much
This is
uh,
just the beginning. This is
in
just the
life
beginning.
together. We've traveled.
Oh yeah.
We've done so much, and that will be another topic. What happens
Oh
in the
yeah.
Philippines stays in the
Oh yeah.
Philippines.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, we'll always talk about certain things because we could talk for hours. So it'll be good because I'm sure a lot of the new students and I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to hear stories that we've had in Hong Kong, China, Hagokjeong, Philippines, wherever it is. We got plenty.
Our next one, I'll talk about when we're in Zhengzhou. Remember, we went to
Oh yeah,
karaoke and
yeah,
they came out with meat cleavers. Remember,
yeah,
we're in those
yeah,
little, we thought we're in these
yeah.
little booths and they wanted us
Oh
to
my
pay for food.
God.
But oh man,
Yes.
we had to find our fucking way out. Anyway,
Yep.
fella, it's about to finish, and
Yep.
thank you so much for coming. You look after yourself. Until next time, we'll chat anyway a little bit later.
We will.
You have a
All
great
the
night.
best.
You have
Look
a great.
forward.
You have a great night,
Take
bro.
care.
See you, bro.
Always.
See you, mate.
Take care.
Bye bye.
Ciao.